Welcome back, YouTube. We're the white pieces and we're playing Cup AP05. They're rated 1645. These are my first two opening moves for almost every game. They're attacking our pawn. Let's defend with the knight. Alright, they chose not to develop a piece, so I'm actually going to prevent their bishop from pinning my knight. It's probably better for me to strike in the center right now with my pawn. So let's grab some space. Let's get this bishop out. Let's move it back to here so we can protect the pawn in case they try to chase my knight around. I think we should probably castle too. You know what I really want to do here is actually push this pawn. Let's see what he's going to do. Quick interruption. I played pawn to d5 and the engine says this is a mistake. Like Kanye West running for president levels of mistake. Here's why. After pawn to d5, my opponent could just push pawn to b4, threatening my poor knight, like the IRS threatening P. Diddy. Now the correct thing to do, according to the algorithm overlords, isn't even to save the knight. You're supposed to ignore it completely and instead capture the pawn on c6. Then they capture our knight with pawn takes c3. We respond with pawn takes knight on d7. They gobble up another pawn with pawn takes b2. We hit back by playing bishop to b2. Finally, they hit us with knight takes d7. And the end result, we're left holding an isolated, sad little c-pawn. Now, if we roll back to before all the chaos, the robot actually wanted us to play pawn to e5 instead. If we do that, their best move is pawn takes e5. Then we reply with pawn takes e5, and their knight jumps to d5. In this version, we don't end up with an isolated pawn. It's a really confrontational move. But it weakens the B pawn, so let's see. Yes, I mean, this looks like a free pawn to me, right? Do I take it with the knight? I feel like I should take with the bishop in case I need to trade it off for their knight. Yeah, I'm just gonna take this one. Quick interruption. My opponent threatened my bishop, and I played bishop takes knight on d7. The engine says this is inaccurate. Trading a bishop for a knight here is like when Trump slapped tariffs on everything. You think you're making progress, but really you're just weakening your position. I'm basically giving them better development for free. I should have just retreated the bishop back to e2 and avoided the trade war. Alright, now this bishop, let's put it like right here. I have plans to get my knight out of the way and then connect my pawns. And I'm actually kind of glad he did this. So whenever they set up this type of formation where there's an open file, I like pushing a pawn and then putting my knight on the corner. The difference is that in this case the bishop can take, but I'm still going to push my pawn. Alright, I'm going to park my bishop right behind his queen and just ask him, you know, what are you up to? What are you doing? No, you know what? I'm a little bit afraid of the knight jump, so I'm going to defend with the bishop because I'm afraid of the knight revealing an attack and then creating problems. I'm actually now probably going to move my rook too. Alright, now let's develop the queen. He wants to hit me with the bishop attack on b5, but my knight is right there. All right, here's the deal. I really want to get my knight to c4 eventually, but my bishop is in the way. So what I'm going to do is actually move my rook first. Let's move this rook so I can get my bishop out of the way so I can get my knight and eventually jump to that square. back up the bishop. Got a bit of a double attack going, so I've got to protect. Last one, I promise, but this one's super interesting. My knight's under attack, so I go queen to d3 to protect it, but the engine says this is inaccurate. Apparently I should have just sacrificed the exchange with knight takes b5. Now I'm taking their knight, but that also unleashes their bishop to attack my rook. But here's the thing, if they take my rook with bishop to a1, I get to steal a pawn with knight to d6 on the way out. Sure, I'm down in exchange, but we essentially gained an extra pawn out of it. Honestly, looking at the whole picture, I'm still okay with my decision. I didn't lose a higher value piece, and sometimes you just gotta trust yourself. Good, trade the bishop off. That's cute, but I moved my rook, so... Now where do I move my queen? I think I'm gonna keep my queen down here. I want to still offer this trade. The only way to prevent it is to push their pawn in the way of their bishop. I'd be happy about that. Sounds good to me. All right, let's attack the bishop. Get the bishop out of here. It's my diagonal. Thank you. Then I'm going to move my queen out of the way, get my knight to eventually jump to c4. I feel like that's the main mission objective of this game. So I'm going to do that. Let's go with yeah. Let's go here. That also prevents them from pushing their pawn. So the goal here is to go d2. Yep, let's go d2. And then get the knight to this great square. I think I'm just going to let that happen. Do I let that happen? No, I definitely don't want to give them that square, so let's jump the knight. And then now I can actually attack the queen with my bishop. So even if they take that pawn, I'm probably going to attack the queen. If they go, I hope they go like rook d8 or something. I'll be able to win in exchange. I mean, that's a crazy good square for the knight. Bishop can't get it. Almost certainly my next move is going to be a5 with my bishop. All right, that looks like a free pawn. I think I'm going to take it, attack the queen. Does that trap the queen? It might. Let's calculate. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that traps it. Damn. I hope you guys liked the video. If so, like, share, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.